I'm Dr. Wayne Smith, and I'm a licensed professional counselor, a licensed sex offender treatment provider, certified anger resolution therapist, and all sorts of other crazy stuff. I'm an associate professor in the professional counseling program, and I've been serving here at the University of Houston, Victoria on both campuses for the past 6 years. So, first things first, why did I choose to study clinical mental health counseling? I can tell you this long, drawn out story for the next 25 minutes about my life and how I grew up and how it influenced my spirit. But to keep it short and sweet, I have a servant spirit, right? Usually, when individuals come into our program and we interview them, we say, "Why do you want to be a counselor?" And usually, what everybody says is to help others. And honestly, that's also why I decided to become a clinical mental health counselor. So that way I can utilize my servant spirits to be able to serve others, right? It's a very beautiful thing to have. I know sometimes when we hear the word servant, it comes with some negative connotations sometimes, but it's actually a beautiful quality to have. And and when you serve, you want to be kind and not nice. You know, they always say nice guys finish last. And the reason why is they're busy giving everybody what they want and they're people pleasing. What we want to do is we want to be kind. That's giving people what they need and más que menos sometimes giving them what they want, right? So when you're kind and you have that spirit, then you can serve others in a higher capacity. Also, so from going being a counselor to deciding how do I teach others to do what I do, right? So the reason why I decided to teach is so I could be called doctor. All right. So I have I wanted the title, but my first year in the doc program, once I understood the influence and how I could impact others, that doctor title didn't matter that much anymore, right? It did help me overcome some of my past. But the second reason is because I always wanted to be a stand-up comedian, but I really couldn't get on stage in front of people and do it. So I get to do it in the classroom. So that's another bonus there. But seriously, at first I didn't want to be a teacher. When I was a junior in high school, my history teacher, he told me, you don't want to get into the education system. It doesn't pay much. You do long hours and you don't get any kudos for it. So don't be a teacher. Well, after further experience and understanding the different realms you can teach in at all the different levels, and then getting experience to be able to be a teaching assistant at a university that I was going to school at, then I realized this could be something for me. But my mom was a natural born teacher, right? She always seen her in my school, helping kids with fractions. And so she kind of instilled that gift in me so that way I can share it with others, right? The power of influence and how it can inspire us or hurt us. I also want to raise professional troublemakers. There's a book out there by Lovey Jones called Professional Troublemaker, and it talks about how to advocate. Okay, so how to advocate for yourself and how to advocate for others. In our society right now, we need a lot more of that. How to be able to speak up and not shame the person shaming us, how to speak up to the person shaming, help change their hearts so they can move away from it and be able to truly connect with others. And then finally, to give back. That's a very important piece of what I do, is to be able to give back. Okay, so when I was thinking about this question, I had to poll the audience and of course ask my students different things that they'd want to know or that they kind of understood about this is, do you like hearing other people's problems? Is that something that you just enjoy doing and you just like it nourishes your spirit? Or can you keep a secret and not engage in chisme and tell everybody else what's going on, right? If you can do those things, you'll make an excellent counselor. But seriously, right? You need to understand and see, does it fit your style? Does it mesh well with your swagger, right? Is it congruent with who you are as an individual? What you see right here in this video is what you're gonna see when I'm walking down the street at Walmart with my chanclas on. It's what you're gonna see when I'm in this counseling session. It's what you're gonna see when I'm in the classroom. I'm congruent in all areas so I can truly free myself and do my greatest works. And if serving is your passion, okay, if you really wanna help others and you wanna do what you love, because if you want to get into this program or any other program, you're going to make sure that it's something that you enjoy doing, because then you'll do it better, you'll love it, and it'll be so much fun, right? So when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And then you can truly connect with others, connect with God, connect with your higher power, whatever it is, and truly flourish in everything that you do. Should I filter this? Should I tell the truth? You know, how should I really respond to this, right? The rawness of the challenges of an intensive graduate program, right? So you get your undergrad, usually 4 or 5 years, you're majoring in something, and then you move to, and half of that is like your basics, right? English, math, science, all that good stuff. When you jump into a graduate program, now you're focusing on one main area and doing what you love. So it's important to understand that when you do this, it's going to be rigorous, right? There's going to be more papers, probably a little bit more challenging assignments, right? There's going to be all sorts of things that you're going to do to be able to learn the skills of being a clinical mental health counselor. And one of those, which I think is probably the biggest challenge, is introspection, discovering yourself, right? Taking the thorn out of your own eye and understanding your quirks and what's affected you or infected you in your life, so that way you can clear it out, be completely honest with yourself, and not let it continue to toxify your body. Because that level of self-awareness, not only about what you know about yourself, but also how that impacts others, is critical. And you need a whole lot of self-compassion, right? I love Kristen Neff's work. She's from UT. She has a self-compassion clinic, and she says self-compassion is threefold: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. So you better start talking good about yourself. That's important, because sometimes we're a lot kinder to others than we are to ourselves, right? So you want to be seen, known, and loved. So heal thyself, counselor, right? Heal thyself, individual, and then you can do the greatest works that you can do. And that it's always another challenge is the work-life balance, right? We call, I don't know what traditional students are, but a lot of our students are mid-20s, early 30s. We have clients in their 50s and 60s. Most of them are working full-time. Most of them have children. They're doing all sorts of stuff as they're taking 3 to 4 classes as they go through our program. And so trying to balance that is critical. Making sure you have time for play, not neglecting your family life and your partner, even though sometimes you will have to sacrifice and miss out on some of those barbecues, but also being successful in school. And it is a journey, right? You're not going to ever find balance. I'm sorry to tell you that. I got to be real, but it's the journey toward balance is what it's truly all about. So to be able to balance your work life, your family life, and your school life is going to be very critical for your restoration, your recreation, and everything that you do in your life. The most common feedback we get is that all the instructors teach differently. They all give you a different style of what it is to be a counselor. Because when you're sitting with different clients in your session, you're going to get all sorts of different diverse ideas that you're going to be interacting with. So when you get faculty from different backgrounds coming together to be able to teach you, it helps you become more well-rounded and helps you engage in that growth mindset, because great minds don't think alike. Everything you know is wrong. Also, another one is they love the support that they receive throughout their program, so we can help them be successful, right? Being agile, which is flexibility in action, so you can be successful. Also, how to be able to advocate for yourself and advocate for others. Social justice is also a huge part in this program. Students have learned how to be themselves, right? I'm naturally who I am. That gives them permission to be who they are, and so that way they can shine and take a little piece of me in that counseling session, but a whole lot of them, because usually you already have what it takes, and that's why this is your vocation. You're calling to do what you do, and you just got to kind of learn some more education in order to get there. And then they said they also could find jobs, make tons of money, have a happy life, and have whatever their definition of success is. All right, so this is critical, because there are tons of counselor programs just here in the state of Texas, throughout the nation, and internationally. One standard we do have is we're CACREP accredited, which is a national standard for professional counseling or counselor education programs, to know that we are following the highest standards, the highest protocol, to ensure that our students are getting the best learning, the best training and knowledge, skills, and ability as a professional counselor to be out there on the front lines in order to be successful, right? We foster that curiosity, we serve others. Everybody in our program earns an A. Well, not really, but you put in the work, you do what you need to do, and there is so much that you can do with it. Our faculty are servants at the national, state, and local level. We're all members of professional organizations at those 3 levels. We all serve as liaisons toward the LPC board, or toward an organization as a president or a treasurer, or all sorts of different roles. So not only do we teach in front of the classroom, but we provide that servantry in everything that we do, We all present at conferences, we all engage in research. We're out there on the front line still as professional counselors and educators to make sure that we're serving and practicing what we preach. But sometimes we focus too much on a destination, even though we do need a destination, but we can't forget about the people we're with and the journey we're on. So that way, when you do enter our program, we're going to make sure that you do have time for play, time for fun, because that's important, because you have to restore, you have to focus on wellness and be successful when you get out of the program. So we hope you model that while you're in.